Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Modesty33 here, aka Chris with a C, back at you with another video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I try to put out 1 to 2 videos a week. I do sit downs, reviews, reactions, vlogs. So if any of that interests you, make sure you check out the prior videos on my channel. And if you see anything you like before you leave, make sure you subscribe. So today, you guys, I'm going to be doing a movie review. I just saw A Quiet Place Part 2 yesterday in the theaters. So today's Memorial Day. So happy Memorial Day. We appreciate our veterans and all those who sacrificed their lives just so we can enjoy the freedoms we currently have today. So just wanted to put that out there. That is when I am actually filming this video, and the video might actually go up today too. We'll see. So I just have a lot to do today, you guys. I really should wash my hair, but it's a 2-day process, and it would have ideally been something I started yesterday, but then I went out yesterday. Well, yeah. Ideally, I would have started yesterday, but it was such a long day, so I didn't do it. So now I don't know when I'm gonna do it. So that's just a side note. And if my eyes are like red, I don't know if you guys can tell. I was wearing my contacts yesterday, and I just started getting back into wearing contacts. These are my older ones. They're not like, I haven't gotten my new ones as of yet. I need to order them. But I don't know, every time I wear them afterward, my eyes get really red. So I haven't been turning up. So this is a completely sober review of A Quiet Place 2. Just want to put that out there before we get into the whole thing. You're like, what's going on? You know, you enjoyed your holiday a little bit too much, but no, I have not. I've been sleeping. I've been watching YouTube videos, which is life. So anyway, guys, want to get into this review. So I did see the movie yesterday, and I want to give you a few facts about the movie before we get into it. So let's go ahead and get started, you guys. So I was super happy to go back to the theater and see A Quiet Place 2. This is the first movie I've seen since last year when I saw Tenet. I don't know if I did a review on Tenet, but I did not like it at all. So maybe I chose not to do a review. I don't know. Yeah, that movie was just really bad to me. And I loved Inception. I got Inception. I love the director, and I love, a lot of different things that he does, but I just did not like Tenet as a movie. So that was the last movie I saw in the theater. So I was really excited to go see A Quiet Place Part 2. So this is the Part 2 follow-up to A Quiet Place, which came out in 2018, starring John Krasinski, Emily Blunt, and they were the two main stars in the 2018 film. Now, this movie, A Quiet Place 2, was supposed to come out March of last year. I was super excited when I moved here to go to the theater and see A Quiet Place 2 because I did not see A Quiet Place when it originally came out. I heard a lot of hype behind it, but I think in my mind, I thought it was one thing, but then I think I was bored one day, which, happens. And then I ended up watching it because there was so much hype about this movie. I saw different people on YouTube were reacting to it at the time. So I was like, let me watch this movie because a lot of people hyped up that movie. And y'all, I was really surprised at how good this movie was and how creative and brilliant it really was. Now, it is in the genre of horror thriller, and I do not like horror movies. They bother me. I don't know. I don't like them at all. But this particular movie, there are certain movies that are in the horror thriller classification that I actually really love because I feel like they're good conversational pieces, and they're one of those movies where you watch with friends and you guys have a blast. I feel like A Quiet Place is one of those movies. Another movie I would say that falls into this category that I recently watched, though I didn't do a review on, and it's a fairly older movie, was Train to Busan. That came out in 2016. So again, this review is not about that movie, but just want to kind of give you a, as far as to be able to conceptualize where this movie kind of fits in. To me, it kind of fits almost into that realm where there's this silent threat that you're not quite certain about until it's, revealed on film. So, yeah, that's kind of, to me, where I would classify this particular movie. However, this one, it definitely takes a different direction than Train to Busan. And again, this is a follow-up. I just want to quickly read the synopsis for you guys so we all are on the same page. Now, the difference as far as this movie, it does still star John Krasinski as well as Emily Blunt. However, it also adds the addition of Cillian Murphy, who I pretty much know from the remake of the Batman movies. So I just know him from that. I know he's been in a lot of movies, so I can't name them, but I just know, you know, he was in, was it The Dark Knight or Batman Begins? I don't know. I don't know the names of those movies. I just know like The Dark Knight. So he was in one of those movies, and that's where I know him from as far as, you know, where my knowledge of him. But I know he's a very popular actor. But he was the addition of this movie. Now let's look at this synopsis. Now this particular movie, it was written by John Krasinski, as well as Brian Woods and Scott Beck. And John Krasinski also had a major part as far as the first movie was concerned. So he not only starred in it, but he also, you know, was behind the scenes, and he wrote a lot of portions of the movie, as well as this particular movie as well. Now this is, before we get into the depth of it, I'm just going to go ahead and say it's going to be a spoiler review. I am going to talk about certain portions of the movie. So if you've not seen the movie, definitely go and see it, and then come back to this video if you're interested. So let's get into the synopsis, and then I'll go ahead and get into my pros, cons, and the verdict as far as how I feel about this movie. So essentially, as far as the synopsis, and I got this from like Wikipedia, essentially following the deadly events at home, the Abbott family must now face the terrors of the outside world as they continue their fight for survival in silence. Forced to venture into the unknown, they quickly realize that the creatures that hunt by sound are not the only threats that lurk beyond the sand path. And if I didn't mention it before, the film is rated PG-13. Again, it is in the horror thriller classification, and the runtime of this movie is 1 hour 37 minutes, so not bad at all. When I originally went to the theater yesterday and I saw like, okay, you know, and I booked the ticket, and I was like, okay, it's 1 hour and a half. What they gonna do in 1 hour and a half? I'm just used to movies being like at least about 2 hours long. And so I don't remember how long the first movie was, but actually they did a lot with 1 hour and 37 minute runtime. I was actually very surprised, and I definitely was thoroughly entertained throughout the runtime. Like, they did a lot of things in that period of time. So let me go ahead and talk about the pros of this movie. And if I'm looking down again, I'm looking at my notes because I kind of want to be pretty concise about this. So again, like I mentioned, the first pro that I found is that they did a lot with the film time and the film runtime. So some of my favorite portions of the film, I would just definitely say, which was a pro. I would say my favorite portion was the flashback to day one of what happened when these creatures, I guess, essentially arrived. And it was so interesting, the callbacks from when you saw the flashback and things that you know that happened in the first movie. I thought those were brilliantly done. Like with, what is the dad's name? Lee. Yeah, Lee is the dad's name. Evelyn is the mom's name, you know, because again, we're following a family here. So you have Lee as the dad, Evelyn is the mom. I don't know what the daughter's name is. I know the little boy's name is Marcus. I think maybe the daughter's name is Reagan, but I'm sorry if I don't have that name correct. And then they also have a little brother, you know, an infant. And then in the first movie, they also had another younger brother, which again, I don't know his name, but it's a family essentially that you're following. So I really love that flashback scene to day one where Lee is going into the pharmacy, which is the same pharmacy that they went in the first movie. And then, you know, the camera just subtly almost like just does homage to like certain things in the first film. You see when Lee is passing the pharmacy section where you see the little toy, what was it? Spaceship, or like the little shuttle. You see the little toy shuttle that the little boy or the little brother from the first movie ended up picking up and putting the batteries in and playing with. And so, you know, it subtly passes by that. And I'm like, listen, oh my gosh, this is the same pharmacy they went in the first 5 minutes of the first movie. And so you just kind of see how things have definitely changed, how people are just, you know, no one's paying attention to the noise that they're making, the sound that's going on. You see that there's some type of quiet threat, like the pharmacist or the guy who owns the little store. You know, he is, you know, watching something on the television. They're like, oh, what's going on? No one really knows what's going on, but no one's really paying attention because it's like, okay, well, you know, there's something else going on in town. Like there's a whole little baseball game and that's where everybody's at. And so like, and then it's just like almost like suddenly your world is like turned upside down and you're just having to fight for survival. And then when you kind of come to the spot where they just learn to adapt to be quiet. Like no one had to tell them like, oh, be quiet and the monsters won't find you. Like Lee picked up on it immediately as far as like being quiet. And then it was just amazing too to see it from the point of view of the daughter who is actually deaf. And so, where there are certain portions where it's absolutely quiet and it's from her point of view. I thought that was just really well done. And I think even the addition of a family member, when you're following this family, and even from the first to the second film where we're following the daughter and her point of view, being someone who is, deaf, I think that's just absolutely awesome. And it really adds so much to this film. So that's like probably my favorite portion of the film was the flashback. Again, Cillian Murphy as Emmett was a really good addition to this movie, especially in the absence of John Krasinski's character in the current time. So, just having him as like the other male lead was really, really good. So I really liked what he added to this film. So that was like, to me, a really good, positive as well as a good addition. I feel like Evelyn to me was the best character in this movie. Like, I just feel like she was the most level-headed overall. When things were happening with the kids, like she really did a good job of keeping calm. She didn't panic. She just really was good at keeping the kids calm. So I just think that like, even, when her kids were in danger and like just the wow. Like, if you know the scene I'm talking about, when she kind of like went head to head with the like little monster, and she just is a very smart woman. Like, I just think that like, man, you see everything that this woman is going through. Like, she just lost her husband, still probably grieving the death of, her one of her sons. And it's just everything that she's had to lose. She just had a baby, and so she's just trying to allow her family to survive and make it through this trying time. But she just, to me, was like the best character as far as this film was concerned. Following that, it probably would have been Cillian Murphy's character of Emmett. Like, I thought his character was really good and really strong as well. And then I really like the 2 to 3 different stories that you have going on at one time. You're following Evelyn for a certain period of time when she's trying to get to the pharmacy and get certain supplies for her family. You've got Marcus, the younger brother, who's seeing after the infant. I don't know if they named the infant. But yeah, Marcus is kind of in that little spot. He's looking after the infant. You have Emmett, who is following, the younger daughter who went off by herself, and who's trying to follow this signal that they heard. And so you have that story going on as well. So these are kind of the things that I really loved about the film. As far as cons, let's get to the cons. Now, I really would have loved to see more flashbacks outside of day 1 of what happened. I would have loved to see like day 2, day 3, day 52, of things that happened in the past. And maybe we'll get that in a follow-up film, because I really want like more of an expansion of this world to find out more about what do other people know about these monsters? Like, do we just know a few things about them? Are we just kind of running for survival? Is there or how many people are left? Is there a counterattack or anything else that's in plan or in motion? What about the wildlife and the vegetation? I was kind of thinking about that. Like, what about the birds and some of the animals that make noises as well? Like, are they all gone? Like, what's going on with that? So I would love to have more flashbacks into the past and just kind of have how people have adapted, following everything that's going on. Another con, I would say, which has nothing to do with the movie, just really the characters. The children were reckless, and it really upset me. Like, in the first 5 minutes, I could tell it was going to be that type of movie. When the mother, was looking at the little barn or the little outhouse, and she was like, hey, y'all stay here, I'm going to be right back. And then the daughter's like, hey, I'm going to go in the house, I'll be right back. And I'm like, ain't nobody told you to go into the house. why don't you stay and be obedient like what mama told you to do? I mean, nothing happened at that point in time. She went in to go do something, but like I already could tell, I'm like, she gonna be the wild card and she gonna be disobedient and reckless in this movie. I already see it because that's what happened in the first movie, and that's why we lost daddy. I'm convinced of that. I don't actually, I need to watch the first movie again, but I feel like it has something to do with the kids why daddy died, and I just wasn't for that. So yes, the kids were reckless and I was not for it. And then the other con I would say, which again has to do with not as far as the direction of the movie, but I just feel like stupid things that kind of happen within some movies within this genre. But like the whole idea of, you know, there were all these people beyond the sea that we're gonna save. You know, oh, my dad would save these people, so I'm gonna go out and we're gonna go and rescue them, and you know, so they know that these monsters are sensitive to sound. Then you go and you see the people, we make it beyond the sea. We meet these people who are on this island. These people are chilling. They around here having campfires. They're teaching their children. They having barbecues. These people were chilling. They were good. They were like, oh, did you come here, you know, to get help? And they're like, no, we came here to help you. And you know what they ended up doing? They ended up bringing one of the monsters with them, you know, not intentionally, but accidentally. And all these people end up getting murked. These people were good. So our actions, were we talking about, hey, you know, we came here to save you? No, you know, we actually came here and we got half of y'all murked. This is, I was like, the people were good. You could have just stayed where you were. The people were good. Now, the only reason to me that the daughter's actions had significance in the end is that in the end, her actions did help to save her mother and her younger brothers. And so that's really the only significance, but it's kind of like at what cost? I mean, maybe in another movie, we'll see that, you know, this has greater implications, her actions. But other than that, like all these people kind of died for like nothing, to be honest. So her family really could live, which she didn't know that at the time, but that's kind of what ended up happening. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like some of the stupid deaths was another con. Like, you know, the black guy on the island, I don't feel like he needed to die, but he did. And I knew it was going to happen. I was very sad about him. Actually surprised Cillian Murphy's character, Emmett, didn't die, but he didn't. So, yeah, I've kind of rambled on as far as the pros and the cons. Let me go ahead and give you the verdict, though. I found this to be a very enjoyable movie. I look forward to seeing it again because some of the dialogue in the beginning I kind of missed. So I really look forward to seeing the movie again and catching and picking up on that. I look forward to seeing people's reactions to it, which I know everyone's not going to have a favorable reaction to it because like the first film was like introducing and opening up a whole new world. And so it's kind of hard to duplicate that with a second movie. So you know, me personally, I can't really say the second movie is better than the first or the first is better than the second. I really would have to watch them a few more times and watch them together. I think they both of them really had their own pros and cons, but I really love both. I really loved and enjoyed this movie. It's probably the best movie I've seen in quite a while. And again, I look forward to rewatching it and I look forward to seeing other people's reactions to it. And I feel like this movie does open the door for another sequel or possibly even more movies to go along with it that can further expand on this world. Because I feel like there's a lot more that could be done with this. And so, you know, with every movie, though, what's cool about it is you're picking up more information about these monsters. So in the first movie, we found out that they're sensitive to sound. This movie, we found out that they can't swim, apparently. So maybe we'll pick up some other things in another few movies and find out how to like eradicate them and rebuild the earth or whatever. So that's kind of my review of the movie. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know it's rather long, but I did, you know, I want to give you the heads up. It is a spoiler review. So hopefully you did enjoy it. If you have not seen it and you did watch this anyway, I definitely recommend you see both movies. They're really, really good, really well written, really well done. So hopefully, again, you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give this movie a thumbs up. Also, make sure you comment below. Did you see the movie? What did you think of it? Better than the first? Or do you just think maybe it's equal with the first? Or you just think it's a good movie in its own right and you don't really measure it against the first movie. How do you feel about the movie if you saw it? Definitely comment below. Also, make sure you share this with anyone else who likes movie reviews. Hopefully, I'll be doing more of these in the future. We'll see. And guys, before you leave, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Again, you do that by hitting the red button below and making sure you hit the bell next to it so you're notified when I do upload future videos. So you guys, I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.